Hey blues fans, welcome. You found us. We're glad you did. It's time for another episode of This Week in the Blues. It's our weekly take on blues history. I'm your host, Jimbo Big Train Madsen with the blues band Big Train and the Loco Motives. We're just trying to keep the blues alive, one video, one podcast, one song, one social media post at a time. So let's take a look and see what happened this week in blues history.
Blues musician J.W. Warren was born on June 22nd in 1921 and grew up in Arbuton, Alabama. Strangely enough, the initials didn't stand for anything. His actual name was J.W. Now, he picked up and learned the guitar when he was around 16 years old, and he was soon playing at local juke joints and barbecues. He worked at a sawmill for a time before entering the U.S. military while he was still in his teens, serving for 14 years. After the Army, he returned home where he worked as a farmer and resumed playing at the local juke joints, often splitting time with Big Mama Thornton, who was also from the area. Now, J.W. Warren has claimed that he was the subject of Thornton's biggest song, Hound Dog, but the jury is still kind of out on that one. Texas blues guitarist Lester Williams was born June 24th in 1920. He signed a recording contract, and Wintertime Blues was a regional hit. His biggest success was I Can't Lose the Stuff I Use in 1952. His popularity rose to the extent that he appeared in February 1953 at Carnegie Hall in New York on a bill that included Dinah Washington, Billy Eckstine, and Nat King Cole. The song I Can't Lose the Stuff I Use was covered a decade later by B.B. King. Williams released several singles in the 1950s. His recording career lasted from 1949 to 1956, but he remained a stalwart of the Houston blues circuit for decades, including a tour of Europe in 1986. Blues musician T. Model Ford was probably born on June 24th in 1923. Now, unable to remember the exact date of his birth, records indicate Ford was born in Forest, Mississippi, sometime between 1921 and 1925. Now, Ford worked in various blue-collar jobs, such as plowing fields, working at a sawmill, and later in life becoming a lumber company foreman, and then a truck driver. At this time, Ford was sentenced to 10 years on a chain gang for murder. Ford took up the guitar when his fifth wife left him and gave him a guitar as a leaving present, and began his musical career in the early 1970s. Now, Ford trained himself without being able to read music or guitar tabs. His musical style combined the rawness of Delta blues with Chicago blues and juke joint blues styles. The blues classic Worried Life Blues was recorded on June 24th in 1941. Big Maceo recorded it in Chicago, and it later became a blues standard. Worried Life Blues was elected to the Blues Hall of Fame in the first year of balloting in the Classics of Blues recording category. It was also the first song ever recorded by singer and piano player Major Big Maceo Merriweather in 1941, proving that he had the right move by relocating from Detroit to Chicago not long before with the intention of furthering his musical career. Now, Worried Life Blues eclipsed the song that inspired it, Sleepy John Estes' Someday Baby Blues, as Maceo emotively immortalized the refrain, "Someday baby, I ain't gonna worry my life no more." Larry the Mole Taylor was born on June 26th in 1942. While he's best known for his work as a member of Canned Heat, he had been a session bassist for the Monkees and Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah, you heard that right. A session player for the Monkees. Okay. Taylor became a leading exponent and practitioner of the acoustic upright bass in the contemporary blues scene. He was quite prominently seen with his upright bass in the live blues film Lightning in a Bottle. Blues singer and piano player St. Louis Jimmy Oden was born June 26 in 1903 in Nashville, Tennessee. He lost both parents by the time he was 8. He sang and taught himself to play the piano, and in his teens he left home for St. Louis and began performing with the piano player Roosevelt Sykes. After more than 10 years playing together, they both moved to Chicago, and it was there that he was nicknamed St. Louis Jimmy and had a solid performing and recording career for the next 4 decades. Blues guitar player Big Bill Broonzy was born June 26th back in 1903 in Scott, Mississippi, just across the river from Arkansas. His family were itinerant sharecroppers and the descendants of ex-slaves. Broonzy learned to play the cigar box fiddle from his uncle, and as a teenager, played violin at local churches, at community dances, and in country string bands. His career began in the 1920s and played steadily through the following decades. In Europe, Broonzy proved more popular than at any time in the United States, with a prolific recording career there. When he died in 1958, he left a recorded legacy which, in just sheer size and volume, it exceeded that of any blues artist born on this side of the year 1900. His playing style continues to influence blues players today. Chicago bluesman Johnny Big Moose Walker was born June 27th in 1927 in Stoneville, Mississippi. Walker was primarily a piano player, but also was proficient on the electronic organ and even played the bass guitar. He began his musical career in 1947, playing piano and touring with various bands and backing such notable artists as Ike Turner, Sonny Boy Williamson, Elmo James, Lowell Fulson, and Choker Campbell. Now, Walker moved to Chicago in the late 1950s, and over the next decade accompanied Sunnyland Slim, Otis Rush, Muddy Waters, Little Johnny Jones, and Howlin' Wolf. He got his stage name of Big Moose as a child because of his long, flowing hair. Honeyboy Edwards was born in Shaw, Mississippi on June 28th in 1915. Now, when he died, he was the last known living link to someone who played and traveled with Robert Johnson. For much of his life, Edwards was underappreciated, but his slashing, Delta-drenched guitar and gruff vocals were as authentic as Delta blues ever got. Edwards' childhood friends included Tommy McClellan and Robert Petway. Rambling around the South, Honeyboy experienced the great Charlie Patton and played often with Johnson. He remained active up through the first decade of the 21st century, collaborating with Henry Townsend, Pinetop Perkins, and Robert Lockwood Jr. on Last of the Great Mississippi Delta Bluesmen, live in Dallas, which won the 2008 Grammy Award for Best Traditional Blues Album. Well, blues fans, we just covered some of the highlights here. Now, if you want to know more about these artists or the other things that happen in the blues, and there's a lot of them, be sure to follow our social media pages or go visit our website at bigtrainblues.com. We'll have a new episode next week, so we'll see you then.